Hello. I didn't think I'd be back making another video on the microtransactions for New World this quickly, but they sent out a statement today on Twitter, which I will put in the description of the video. And I read this thing over multiple different times, and it doesn't seem as bad as we initially thought, but it is still not a good direction to go with the game. And we found out another direction they wanted to take with more microtransactions, which the one that they mentioned, we'll go over it in the video, I feel is really stupid. And there was also one tweet that called them out on one of the things they mentioned, and I wanted to go over it. All right, but let's go over this statement right now. As of 2 hours ago of me making this video, New World sent out this message. Some questions have come up recently from our alpha patch notes discussing an in-game storefront. We knew it was going to be there. We knew it was going to happen. We just didn't know it was going to be at this extent. Our plan in having a store is to create an outlet for players who find enough value in store items that they are happy to purchase them. Did I read that stupid? I don't know. Like, yeah, no, I read that correctly. It just reads very poorly. Our plan is not and never will be to create a feeling that store items are necessary to enjoy the game. And you'll see in this next paragraph where this statement is kind of sort of false. And then they go on to say all players will be able to play the full game experience we ship out without having to make store purchases. Well, yeah, like any pay to win game, you technically can just grind everything out. It's just not a good time. All right, and then we go into this next paragraph, and we go into Amazon Game Studios' favorite word to say, and it's at launch. They love saying the word at launch, we have learned in their previous tweets and replies. It reads, all store items at launch, that should be in like all caps, will be exclusively cosmetic in nature. They said at launch, that means they are planning to add things that are not cosmetic in nature after launch. Again, I said this yesterday. It could be a day after launch. It could be months after launch, which is probably more realistic. I would say, like, people would probably be less peeved if it was a year after launch, but you know they aren't gonna wait a year. A lot of MMOs do catch up mechanics that you pay for, essentially. I don't like them, but people justify it. People justify it somehow. They go on to say, we are introducing the storefront in alpha in order to test these items and their value. So they're trying to get, like, a price to charge you for these said items. No selections in the store or their indicated cost during testing, there is no real cost in any case, is final. Our purpose is quality assurance and gathering player feedback. Let me tell you, Amazon Game Studios, you're going to get a lot of feedback during this alpha. Players are going to say, get rid of this bullcrap that boosts rested XP and fast travel and whatnot. Like, just no one wants it. No one wants it. I don't think you're actually going to get any actual player feedback on the game itself. You're just going to get people saying they don't want this in their game. Fairly so. And then they say, so please share your thoughts once the system is introduced. So they're saying, don't complain about it now. Wait until we put it in the game, and then we won't take it out. The testing audience will see each type of item we are considering and have an opportunity to provide feedback before they are introduced to the live game. Again, they're saying they're going to have it in the alpha, but they're 100% going to put it in the live game. Like, they want feedback on it, but the feedback is going to be take it out of the game, but they're still going to keep it. So I don't know what they're doing here. Like, they're just asking to be yelled at here. And this next paragraph kind of tells you what they are going to put in. In the paragraph we just read, they said all of the items they are planning to add will be in the alpha. So they're saying they're not going to add any more than what is in that alpha shop. I don't believe it. I'm pretty sure they're going to add more stuff. Don't take my word for it. This is just speculation. Now, this next paragraph, they say, looking towards the future. So they're already planning for beyond launch. It's essentially they're giving you a solution that they can already fix because they are still essentially making the game. It's going to be out here soon. But they say we will also test ideas on how to offer players quality of life items for mechanics like rested XP and fast travel. Let's go over this just a little bit. Now, why do you need to sell something like a rested XP bonus? Mind you, I looked up what the rested XP bonus was in one of the alphas. It was like 5%. 5% goes a long way if you're just grinding away. Like, it sounds small, but it is a large number for something that, like, people can buy. And I'm pretty sure rested XP was free. You stayed in the city or something and you got a rested XP bonus. Now, what I don't understand is why you have to pay for something that you should already get when you're just hanging out in the main city. I know in World of Warcraft, whenever you'd log on and you're in the main city, you had a like blue bar instead of it being purple, and then you had this like little notch there, and that's how long your rested XP lasted when you gained a certain amount of XP, and then it'd go back down to a normal amount. What they're doing here is essentially making you pay for that, even though they say you can obtain it in game. And that's what they say in the rest of the sentence here, saying both obtainable in game and purchasable in store. And now the fast travel. They want you to pay real money for fast travel in the game. It dumbfounds me, the idea of I'm going to pay money, real money, for an in-game taxi. That's like me loading up GTA, calling the taxi, and then I have to get out my credit card for my actual bank for them to drive me to the next mission. I just can't wrap my head around the idea of this being a good idea. In the next sentence, they go on to say the timing of release for these types of items will depend on how players progress in the months after launch. They're not saying a year, they're saying months. There's a key word there, in the months after launch. This doesn't even sound like 6 months. Like, I feel like they want to implement this like a few months after launch. My speculation is going to be 6 months because they're going to be like, oh, a lot of players are ahead and people need to catch up to them. So Amazon's causing a problem of, instead of making a fun level up experience, they're deciding to tone down some things and make you want to pay for rested XP and fast travel. They, in the next sentence, try to defend having paid fast travel and rest XP by saying, the more players who are able to experience all of our exciting in-game content and game modes, the healthier the overall game experience will be for all players. Like, this is obviously false. Like, I know a lot of MMOs focus on end game content, but this is not the way you get people to play your end game content. All of what they're trying to do is cheapen the experience that you're going to have, and ultimately, you're going to feel bad if you did pay for a fast travel with money out of your wallet. I believe you should never have to buy anything in game that gives you any type of quality of life. Now, if it's in game currency, currency you cannot buy with real, actual dollars, that is fine. I know I keep bringing up World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft. If you buy heirloom armor, you get an XP bonus when you're leveling. But the thing is, that is bought with in game currency, that is bought with gold. Well, now Blizzard has WoW tokens, which you can get gold out of. So essentially, you can just buy your way through WoW too. So WoW is essentially pay to win as well. And when they say they want to make a healthier overall game experience for all players, it will not do that. It's actually just going to make people mad. And you'll have players who aren't prepared. They don't know what they're doing. There's some bullcrap like that. They don't know how to farm the right materials to do a certain thing. This next paragraph that they say is that our goal with all items of any type is that they not offer an advantage that imbalances the game. I'm. So when does a 5% XP boost not imbalance a game? Like that 100% imbalances a game. It's going to give the person with the 5% XP boost an upper hand. Like if I need to break this down a little bit better. Okay, you got Joe Schmo, right? He has base game, no rested bonus that he bought. And then you have Pecan Andy over here who bought all of the fast travels and rested XP boosts. All right, they're leveling together because they're friends. Little Joe Schmo, he's going to be leveling up, but little Pecan Andy's going to be going up a little bit higher and higher and higher and higher the further they go when they level. So I don't know if you've ever used scales or anything or like a ruler, but little Joe Schmo, he's a little bit lower than Pecan Andy. So you could see a little imbalance here, right? Right? That's a little bit of an imbalance, I would say. But Amazon says, "Oh no, it's not going to be at launch, so it's not going to be that bad." Like it's not going to be as bad, but it's still going to be pretty bad. And then after that, they say, "We understand that this line is based on player interpretation, so we ask for your patience while we test in alpha and listen to your feedback." It's only up to our interpretation because they will not be more transparent with their ideals of what they want to do. They're not giving any numbers, any type of anything to tell us what we can gauge our anger on. So for now, we're just going to gauge our anger on whatever number that we can find, and the number I found was 5%. In the very next paragraph, when I said they need to be a little bit more transparent, what do they say? They say, for transparency on future plans. We are also contemplating, and by contemplating, what they're really trying to say is they're having meetings on this next thing that I'm about to read. We are also contemplating, but have not finalized, a battle pass style program. This is the most ridiculous line that I have read. So, essentially, what they are saying is that they are in like board meetings or whatever with their higher ups saying, "Hey, those battle passes do pretty well on the Fortnites and the Call of Duties. What if you added that into your game?" And I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more, but they also say that would combine store items on a periodic basis. And you know, just because they said they're being so transparent, they also left out like some important information here where they didn't mention if it was only cosmetics and these XP boosts, or what. They only mentioned that it's going to be store items. So it's probably going to be these rested XP boosts and these fast travels as well, on top of maybe some cosmetics. So I personally hate the battle pass in any game. I feel like most game companies use it as a cop out instead of putting out actual content. With all the effort that they would spend making new skins, doing all this other crap, they could probably design a half decent dungeon in half the time and people would love it. But if the battle pass is strictly only cosmetic, that would make it at least tolerable. And I feel like they probably threw in this battle pass in this message here was just because they wanted to see if people would say, I would rather just have the battle pass instead of these XP boosts. And then it'll be like a little bit of reverse psychology where people say they want this other microtransaction as opposed to this much poorer and worse, user unfriendly one. And then people applaud them for making that choice. That's just speculation. That's not fact. That's just what I think might be going on. Now that that tangent's over, let's go to the next sentence. They say, this will also be tested ahead of time to ensure it provides strong value without disrupting gameplay for those not participating. So right there, it also kind of hints at they're gonna put the pay to win stuff in the battle pass too, and make you grind out the battle pass instead of doing actual fun content that they could be releasing instead. And then they go on saying, much further along, there's also the possibility of optional expansions, which would have a separate cost. I don't like how they worded optional there, but what I think they mean is if you want to progress higher than where you are or with your level, then you buy the expansion and then do the content in that. Now, what I was speculating was they might have added these XP boosts and crap when the optional expansions released, which at least would make a little more sense. World of Warcraft does it with their new expansions. They'll give you a boost token, which I don't like boost tokens personally, but that is a little more accepted, having some type of level or XP boosts when a new expansion is about to drop, opposed to just having it in base game just to have it. And I would rather not have this bullcrap in my game whatsoever. But the reason I'm making this video is if you give any game company like EA or Activision an inch, they will take the entire mile and even then some. I just don't want to have to pay to try and keep up with all these people that's going to be paying for these XP bonuses and whatnot. Because that's essentially what it's going to be. And then it's going to be an arms race every time you try to do the faction PvP, because people will probably get new characters on new servers and then build their faction up all the way they want because they can just build it, and then just wreck shop because they have an upper advantage. I've seen people say, oh, it's not as bad as we thought, but it's still pretty bad. It is still pretty bad. Like, we shouldn't even be having to deal with this crap. Now, I do want to finish this off by reading a few tweets. Just two, one tweet and then one reply. Zcarto says, basically quoting New World by the more players who are able to experience all of our excited endgame content in game modes, the healthier it is for the players. He says that sounds to him that you want to rush people to endgame with boosts and other stuff. Sounds really bad. Just let people enjoy the journey. I couldn't have worded it better myself. The reason I love WoW Classic as much as I do is because the journey is just fun. And I feel like it's a thing that modern MMOs can't make anymore. All these new MMOs, like retail WoW, all they focus on is the end game, or at least whatever end game there is. And then they forget about the stuff that's between making a new character and the end game. And then New World, in their New World fashion, replied, "It isn't about rushing people to the end game. It's about supporting people who don't have as much time to play, helping them reach the end game with the time available to them." That's just a crock of crap. Like, they know people using these boosts are the ones that are no-lifing their game anyway. And these people are making alts and whatnot to sway the edge of certain faction wars on other servers. Where, yes, in theory, this seems like a genuine thing, but in reality, you're just rewarding someone to be lazier than the person who's actually working their butt off to grind out these levels.
But anyway, that's about it. I do stream on Twitch at AkanuX, and also check out my Twitter. It's pretty funny. That's at AkanuXStream. Both will be in the description box down below. Alright, take care now.